Good morning. Sorry, I'm putting the lid back on my coffee cup here. You ever get that where, like, sometimes the lids just won't fit? And you go, what happened here? Let's see, does it leak? Okay, no good. All right, here we go. Good morning. Is it morning? Yes, good morning, everybody. Just went to the farmer's market, the last day of the farmer's market. Saddest day of the year for me is the last day of the farmer's market, because that means we go into hibernation mode, and you all know how I feel about that, and so we needn't bother you with those details. But let's see, I want to take you on a little drive around the battlefield because, hey Barbara, good morning to you. You're the first one in here. I thought it's just so nice. I went to the farmer's market. It's a beautiful day, and my business in town is finished, and I got to go home and I got to pour over my bank account, the business bank account, and figure out where the hell all the money's going, because it ain't going into my pocket. And so I'm like, I don't know if I'm spending that much more money this year, but maybe I am. Who knows? Probably am. So, I printed out all my bank statements, and I'm going to go through them with a fine-tooth comb. I got new cards yesterday, or not yesterday, early Monday, that was, I believe. And, I always do that so that once a year, you do it once a year. It's for security purposes, and also to remind you of what you're spending your money on when they say, hey, we can't charge you. And then you wonder, do I really need it? And so that's what we do. So I'm going home to do that. But it's just so damn nice that I said, well, let me drive my friends around the battlefield here so they can see what a gorge day it is. And then I'll go home and do what I gotta do. And that's the moral of the story here. The moral of the story is, always put off what you can do later to not now. Oh, let's see, who else? Jeff Pasnick, good morning, Jeff. Happy November to you. Matt Gillespie, good morning to you. Valerie, good morning. Jeff says, heading to the Amish butcher myself this morning, getting some steaks for the smoker. Yeah, so we've got an Amish butcher over by us that, they've got, I guess they call them Amish hours. Very odd hours. They're never open after 5, right? And then Saturdays they're open like odd hours, like 10:30 to 10:52. I exaggerate, but not by much. And so I often don't get a chance, or when I get a chance to be in the area where they are, I don't always have a chance to stop in because they're closed. I often go do other shopping at the Walmart or the Lowe's or something right down the street from them, and it's after 5, so they're closed. And these are the sad things, but I have to tell you, really good meats and really cheap. So that will be my winter go-to, although I will stop at Weichert Farm as well. Well, who knows? There's a couple of other farms where I get meat from, so I might spread the wealth. What are you doing? What are you doing? New Jersey driver, no signal. There we go. Yes, Amish meats are, I don't know why they're so good, but they are. Probably because there's no bullshit in them, right? The chicken is really good. You get the boneless thighs and you throw it in the crock pot for an afternoon, and then you've got delectable chicken. And you can do many things. Last week, I took their chicken, put it in the crock pot all day while we were gone, and when I got home, made Indian food with it. Because the dark meat is the best meat for Indian food. It's the best meat all around. Yeah, Kevin and Barbara, both the first ones in. So Barbara, you must have been one of the early ones to get a notification. Very nice. Barbara says, Matt, you seem to be in a really good mood this morning. Nice to hear that. Thank you, Barbara. I don't know what happened Thursday. You know what it is? I think that happened. We finished the first draft of the Little Bighorn Tavern Talk. Now, all that means is I have to start on the other one right away. The next one, I should say, which is the Doug Dowds one. But at least we got that one out of the way, because that one was a challenge because it was very long. And it was our first one, and the lighting wasn't good, and the audio could be better. And like, there's all these little things. So you try to tweak it all in post, but you can only go so far because then can sound like scheisse. So you have to, it's just a lot of work, So I'm glad that we go one down and three go. And so that was a relief. And then I guess Thursday's show, I really think, except for the way Cindy did the birthday show where I had no say in the matter, or very little. Well, I had no say in the birthday part. But Thursday's show, we just kind of like let our hair down and had fun. And even though it went for 3 hours, which I think this might have been the longest show we've done, for me it was fun, and I thought the conversation flowed very naturally. And it's amazing the difference in performance when I'm not stressed. It's really so that was nice. And that all has to do with finishing the Little Bighorn Tavern Talk, the first one. Yes, the first draft of it, I should say, but there's still more to do. And then I'll get all stressed up and knotted into a ball probably next week. But it's also a beautiful day. And I also said I'm taking the day off to work on something that's been hanging over my head for months, which is trying to figure out where my money is going. Yeah. Both got here earlier. Valerie says, planning a day trip for November. Can't wait to get back. It is a great place to be. And November is not that bad of a month weather-wise either. It could be bad. Sometimes it is. But, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we've had days in the 70s. Sometimes. Ted says, where are we going? We're going on our standard route around the battlefield. Unfortunately, I can't take you to places like Beaver Lake or Little Round Top or even the Trossel Farm because we lose signal. And then it becomes a whole thing of either starting another video or just giving it up. And I don't like to give it up. I don't like quitting. So I always want to quit, but I don't like to, so I don't. So I'm going to take you on a route that has been proven to be safe from signal interference. By the way, there's a movie I watched last night called House of Dynamite or something like that on Netflix, just came out. I had heard some people talking about a Netflix movie filming here last summer, I believe it was. And yes, one of the scenes was at the reenactment. I'm assuming it was out at the Daniel Lady farm. It looked like it. And they said the character of that scene, who is there with her son, he says something like, "This is awesome," and she's like, "Well, 50,000 dead in 3 days. You better believe it's awesome," or something like that. And I was like, God damn it. Seriously, now anybody who watched that movie, and if they become interested, they're going to come here thinking, but again, it's okay because we can correct it. But yeah, I just was like, that's like, well, the point of them being in Gettysburg makes no sense to the story. Like, they don't have to, they could be anywhere. They could be at a farmer's market. They could be, they don't need to be at Gettysburg. So the fact that they actually like took the effort to put that character up here on her day off, and then they couldn't just switch dead with casualties. Like they couldn't go that far. And I don't know, whatever. But it was cool to see. I was trying to see if I recognized anybody among the reenactors, but I didn't. But I also, they were quick cuts, so there could have been somebody in there. Let's see now. Where did I leave off here? Yep, Kevin, where are we going? Okay, weather looks perfect in Gettysburg. 60-second PVI says, hi all, don't forget to hit like. Thank you, sir. And don't forget to join patreon.com/addressing Gettysburg. Dustin says, good morning, Matt. Good morning, Dustin. How are you? Matthew says, grab yourself a coffee, Matt. I thank you kind. Ron Morris, morning, Matt. Was entertaining, coming to town Thursday for 4 days. Very nice, Ron. Be sure to not be a stranger. Katie Wolf says, beautiful. Thank you for doing these drives. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching. Matthew says, I enjoyed Thursday's show as well. And Chris said, hello, Matt. Hello, Chris. Yeah, Thursday's show surprised me, and I enjoyed it myself. And the comments that I've been hearing have been good. I don't know what exactly we did right, and we'll never be able to replicate it again, because it just was one of those moods, I guess. I don't know. But oftentimes when we have like a skeletal crew, it tends to be more like that, I think. For me, I feel like if there's a lot of people in the back, then I have to constantly think of something that'll make them laugh, because then I'll keep going. And most of the time they don't laugh. And so, but when they're not there, there's only, the people on the show that like Court and Tad with the camera, and there isn't like a peanut gallery, it's a different vibe because there's less pressure. And so maybe that's it. I don't know. But I like having the peanut gallery there, because probably my favorite thing in the whole world is hearing Mike Lentz laugh off mic in the back. That cheers me up. I mean, that's what it do. Cheers me up. We're gonna go here on Sickles Avenue. Of course, you all know if it's an avenue, it was not here during the battle. It was put in by the government. If it's a road, it was here during the battle. So Wheatfield Road, though I don't believe it was named that, because the wheat field was no more significant than any other wheat field in the area, but it was a road here during the battle. United States Avenue, the intersection right in front of us here, that is an avenue. But it's tricky because part of it is built on, as I understand it, an old farm lane. So it's like a mix. But as it goes now, it is an avenue because the park made it go the way it goes now. That's the way I understand it. So it's a new road tied into an old road, therefore it is an avenue, to my understanding. Matthew enjoys hearing 6Q laugh as well. Yeah, there's something about an off mic laugh that is, so, some laughs, you hear people laughing, it's contagious, right? It's like yawning. But then when you add, to me at least, when you add the element of the person not being directly on a microphone, that laugh becomes hilarious. And I don't know, like, for those of you that listened to the Howard Stern show back in the day when Jackie was on it, Jackie the Jokeman, Howard would always keep his microphone off, and he'd only pull it up when, Jackie needed to be heard. But in the old studio, well, actually in both, Jackie sat rather close to Howard, and Howard's microphone, being a condenser mic, picked up a good deal of the room, and so you would hear Jackie anyway. And when something would make him laugh, and he would laugh off mic, that was funnier to me than when he laughed on mic. In fact, I never laughed at him laughing when his mic was up. And it's kind of the same thing with well, really anybody, but Six Question has such a jovial laugh that it makes you happy to hear it. And then when you throw in, he's like in the background in the back room, and there's the room echo and everything, makes me laugh. I don't know why. Yanabra, Colby Sumner in the house. We played your song on Thursday's show. We were talking about the Walk Tallers, and Yanabra is Bethany's favorite song. Good to see you, Colby. How are things out there in Montana? People always ask about you, and I say, F that guy. He abandoned me and Cindy. No, I don't say that. I say he's going well. He's going well is what I say. Not doing well, going well. And that's just a little shit, I meant to. See, you distracted me there, Colb. All right, that's okay. Everybody relax. We're going to go where I wanted to go. We're just going to take a different route. That's all. Ron says, is there going to be a show Thursday? If so, I will try to leave Chicago early enough to sneak into the Peanut Gallery. Well, there is going to be a show. We don't have a guest, which means if I get too busy with other things or what have you, it's very possible that at the last minute I will say, you know what, let's not do a show tonight, because it won't be interfering with any guests' schedule. So I would check in with me, Wednesday, well, maybe not, it's just Thursday afternoon. I don't know. I don't want to tell you anything definite and make you leave early to get here and then we're not doing one. So, but I mean, we've only got a few left for the year now, so we'll probably do the show. And I like when there's no guest, because then it's, we get to kind of all just kind of reconnect with the audience and each other, and hopefully we'll have another good show. I doubt it, because now we're going to want to replicate last week, and I don't know what we did last week, so we'll just show up. Off mic laugh, that's right. Hello, Colby, how are things going? Where are you headed? Abby says, I'm headed, now we're headed to Culp's Hill. And Colby says he's good out there, but he misses Gettysburg. Of course he does. Because it's probably already winter there, right? You're under 14 feet of snow by now. And we still have some leaves on the trees. It's 56 degrees here. Me and Cindy really miss Colby and Taylor, because they would come over to the house, or we'd go to theirs, and we'd make dinner, and we'd laugh, and we'd talk about memories past, and we just had fun. And then inevitably, the conversation would always turn to Colby. Probably this is his 12th or 13th Moscow Mule in, and he would say, let's get up and go to the gym tomorrow. And I'd be like, go F yourself. And then Taylor would be like, all right, it's time to go now. And then they'd go. But we had fun. And Cindy and I still, once in a while, will say, damn them. But it's now an excuse for us to go visit Montana, which I've wanted to do since I was a boy since I first saw Lonesome Dove, and they ended up in Montana. And as Woodrow F. Call says, "'Tis a cattleman's paradise to hear Jake tell it." It's a very bad Tommy Lee Jones impression, but it's still what I want to see. Garrick says, that is when Howard Stern was funny. Absolutely. The Jackie the Jokeman days. Still some funny moments when Artie Lang took his place, but Jackie, there was just something about Jackie that it wasn't Jackie himself. It was the way they made fun of Jackie. That's and he allowed it. Like, he, put up with it. I mean, obviously, he was making good money. That is the best time. Colby says it's cold. He's walking taller. That's good. That's good. Hello, Francis. How are you? Garrick says, I need to come in to sit in the peanut gallery. I haven't been in the new studio yet. Well, yeah, let me know. Jeff says the sugar high. I guess, maybe that's what we should do what I should do is not eat sugar all week and only have it during the show. Now, there will also be a new element to the show, and that is that we've all decided to bring our dinner with us because going out to dinner is costing everybody too much money. And it is, not the same. Not the same as it used to be. And it's not even that things got expensive. It's that YouTube's revenue for Addressing Gettysburg has been cut in half. Because God knows why. And I really haven't focused on promoting Patreon, so that stagnated and kind of hit a ceiling, plateaued, whatever you want to say. That's we're wrapping this year up with some good news coming down the pike. I think good things coming, and we're going to salvage what we can and build on it. So that's what we're doing. Patreon.com/Addressing Gettysburg. Dustin says Marine Corps. Colby Sumner says ha ha ha. 60-second. Colby, happy early birthday, November 10th, 1775. There you go. That's what you're doing. Pukach. Oh, sorry. Says, good morning, friends. Dustin says, DH Pioneers, y'all. Well, that's a way. Dustin is a monthly contributor to Patreon, but also DH Pioneers. And I think we have a couple of other monthly contributors to DH Pioneers and Patreon as well. The last show of the year, last AG Today of the year, I will read off this year's donors, except for any anonymous ones. So if you donated, but we're not going to say the amounts that you donated. So we're going to just name you and thank you. And because I know people are, they don't necessarily want people to know. Some people do, some people don't, whatever. I just want to thank the person by saying their name. And so we'll have a list of the donors up until the point of the last show of the year. And we'll read them off and thank them. Ron says, going to have 6 questions take me on a practice tour next Sunday. Was hoping I could have been one of his first paid tours. The stars seem to be conspiring against him. I know. And that frustrates me for my buddy Michael 6 Questions Lentz because, as you're going to see on this Wednesday's Ask a Gettysburg Guide, he and Tracy Bear did a I was going to combine 2 words, but that didn't make sense. A fantabulous. That's what I was trying to say. That does make sense. Because fantabulous isn't a word, I don't think. I think Van Morrison just made that up, so I'm just going to say fantabulous. Job on doing the Battle of Brandy Station. We did a preview for their tour that they did, I believe it was back in June, down at Brandy. But this is a full bore Ask a Gettysburg guide about Brandy Station. So yes, that'll be fun. Colby says Ton Tavern. What? Okay, that's over my head, Colb. Sorry. Ty says, good morning, Matt. Appreciated the you changed it to latrine reference for many times on there. That's my father and myself. We both laughed hardest at that one. And my dad laughed and he goes, I knew he was going to say that, or I knew she was going to say that. It's such a typical Mel Brooks line, but it just gets me every time. And it is. That's the thing about Mel Brooks is he recycles a lot of the same jokes, but they're so absurd, they work. You changed your name to Latrine? Used to be Latrine. Oh, God. Good stuff. Ton Tavern is where the U.S. Marine Corps was born. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. I was not a Marine, and I don't know its history that well, or at all. Pukash, see, now I can't do it right. Pook says, nice job on my last name again. Okay, so then, wait, what did I say? Pukasht? Pukasht. That can't be right, because the T is before the sh. Pukatsh. Well, we'll get it someday. It'll come back to me. Well, I'll do it accidentally next time I see your name. Valerie Miller. Hold on, let me get past these people, make sure they don't jump in front of me. Valerie Miller says, is Dedication Day busy on the battlefield if you stay away from the in-town activities? On the battlefield, I don't know. I always stay in town. So after, I don't know. Good question. The battlefield, once starting in October, but it's still warm enough in October, but definitely by Remembrance Day weekend and Dedication Day, it is typically colder and windy, and it gets darker earlier, and so I tend to not go out into wide open fields. That's what I tend to do. So I don't really know. I mean, I have been out there, like after the parade, a lot of the reenactors go out there, and I guess go to their units' monuments. I've been out there a couple of times when I've moved back here several years ago. But I haven't lately. Because usually, now we do the parade, video of the parade from the porch of the, Bantam Roasters, next door to Bantam Roasters. Well, it's a two, Bantam Roasters, their front porch. We do the parade video there. And then after that, like this year I'm going to a dinner, but last year, I don't remember what we did. So I don't know. That was a long way to say I don't really know. 60-second might have a better answer. There may be fewer ceremonies on the battlefield this year by individual groups as the permit office closed and the government shut down. Ah, right. Because you need to have at least 30 days from the event to apply, or outside of, I think, 30 days. And we all know that everybody puts things off to the last minute, thinking that nothing is ever going to change. and then things change. And then the procrastinators, of which I am the king, go, oh, I wish I had done it earlier. So yeah, look at that. Ain't that something? Yes, good 60-second reminds us that MPS law enforcement is still working, so don't go getting any freaking ideas out there, people, with your vandalism and your other things. Valerie Miller says, thank you. I was just curious. That was one of the days we were looking, but don't want to deal with a lot of people either. I mean, you're not going to, in November, even when there's an event, you're not going to deal with the amount of people that you would in October or July or June. Like it's, or when the buses are here in April and May, forget about it. Whatever November has to throw at you, there's a lot worse that comes at us in the year. So I think you'll be okay. You won't have to deal with too many people. That was the one thing I loved about the lockdowns was no one was here. And we went walking on the battlefield every day, and all you saw were other locals, and we all had this feeling like it was our own private park. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was. It was great. It was a beam of light in an otherwise dark, draconian time. Also, a stupid time. Draconian and stupid. That is a hellish combination. We're going to go up Howard Avenue. Good morning, Chris. Sharif don't like it. Yeah, I agree with you, Ron. Morning, Paul. How are you? We'll just take a little zigzag here through Howard Avenue, up the Mummersburg Road, down around the loop in front of the Peace Light, and then across to Oak Ridge. All right, follow me here. Across to Oak Ridge, and then back up into the area of Cutler's Brigade where they fought and all that stuff. And then we'll go over to the seminary, and then we will proceed home, at which point I will bid you a fond adieu. 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 Now, we've got a lot of stuff here. There's a riot up ahead of us. Oh, no, that's a soccer game. Okay. Sorry. My mistake. Oh, no, it's not. It's track. Sorry. I just saw a bunch of people, but there's an opening, and I see people running. So it's track, and everybody's good for these people, because these people I see, these are guys. Okay, so it's men's track. So they're running around town all the time. And I'm like, good for you. That's what I say. I just roll down the window and I go, good for you, as I eat a cheeseburger from Wendy's. I'm like, go for real, kid. And, yeah. You got to admire people that actually do things. You know what I mean? I do. I'd love to be somebody who does something one day. Volsky says, and I agree. You are correct. Good morning to you as well. Okay, a lot of people on the battlefield today. Of course, they would be. It's a beautiful day. Just lovely. Just a lovely day. There people are, standing, talking, some walking, many looking, others sleeping, some getting out of cars, some getting into cars, some taking up 3 parking spaces with their Mercedes Sprinter van. More talking, one looking, and so on and so forth. Paul says, see, you can be a tour guide, right? I know, it's so silly that you have to pass a stupid test to do what I just did. Watch. If you look ahead of us, you'll see the Oak Ridge Tower and a pickup truck, a white Dodge Ram. Neither were here at the time of the battle. Now tell me I need to take a test to say that, right? Please, please. You'll also see at this point, if you look to our left, you'll see another road, and that'll take you down the hill. We're now going into a shady area, courtesy of the trees to my left, but now we are coming out of it as there are no trees to my left that are tall enough to provide us with shade. But soon, if you look ahead of us, you will find more trees. And in those trees we will go. And under those trees, we will enjoy shade until the trees are no more and we are back out in the open. But we've got a little bit to go. Now, if you're prone to seizures, the strobe effect of the sunlight through the trees as we move might not be good for you. So please close your eyes, unless, of course, you're driving. Don't close your eyes then. Chris says, do an episode on the political climate leading up to the Civil War versus our current political climate. I know it's technically not Gettysburg related, but it would still be interesting. Funny you say that, Chris, because I had a meeting with a renowned historian 2 weeks ago. And I said to this renowned historian, renowned historian, I'm awfully alarmed at the lack of Civil War historians warning us to cool it. And also warning about things like nullifying federal authority, attacking federal installations, and then claiming the federal government doesn't have a right to protect its property and personnel. I don't know, like, it's not, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. I just kind of, I don't understand how I'm the only one seeing this, and maybe I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. And I said, by the way, and we had a long discussion, and it went all over the place. But I said I would like to do a show with you and discuss this. And this person said, I think it would be better if we did it with a panel. And I said, I love that even more. And so I am going to. I haven't done it yet because I really want to make sure I am succinct with my pitch to them, because the one thing I don't want it to turn into is a political whatchamacallit, where people start pointing fingers at current factions. What I am asking to do this is, you know what, I'll take it this way, is a distrust of each other, a hatred of each other, a celebrating of the people's reactions or non-reactions to other deaths and weird things like that. And I can't be the only sane person here. I mean, like, it can't be that I'm the one who's insane thinking that these people are insane, right? I mean, does that make sense? Because it's, I don't know, maybe we were brought up in a weird way, but you didn't kill people because you disagreed with them. And if someone was killed because someone disagreed with them, the vast majority of both sides of the aisle condemned it. There are always people who would cheer that because there's always going to be sickos. And we won't break bread with family members or lifelong friends because we disagree politically. I say we, I'm not included. I'll break bread with anybody. I don't care what you believe as long as it doesn't infringe on what I believe and my rights. Don't impose your will on me and we'll be okay. I don't care what your will is, even if I agree with it. The minute you impose it on me as a mandatory thing, I'm done with you. Give me the freedom to decide for myself. That's all I want. That's all I'm promised in this stupid country. And but anyway, so there's all these different things that I'm seeing now that, like I said, if it's not a repeat, it's certainly a rhyme. And I'm alarmed at how many people who I think should know better are very silent. And maybe I'm just reading things wrong. But when I hear pundits and politicians say the word Civil War more now, and they're not referring to the American Civil War of the 1860s, it worries me, because we don't hear that. We never heard that about disagreements, and that should worry everybody. And so we're thinking of doing that. It'll be me and 4 historians kind of exploring that, but I need to get my approach to invite them on so that we don't fall into that, the left does this, the right does that, and it's like blah 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 blah. It's just no, shh, enough with that. Ron Moore says, I'm going to have some business cards printed up that says unlicensed battlefield guide. Ron, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do that together. I'll get one, you get them. We'll embrace our loserdom. Matt Gillespie says, you're not the only one seeing the similarities. Well, apparently the smart people don't, or they won't admit it. Perhaps they agree with having one and they don't want to say that. I don't know, but I'm not hearing them say, can we all just step back a few feet, take a deep breath, and remember that we're neighbors, we're friends, we're relatives, we're all Americans, and all of this dividing, all of these groups that we think are so important are actually, we're all victims of the ruling class doing that to us. We're all Americans, not hyphenated. And that drives me nuts. Like, I don't care what you are, or who you sleep with, or what you got dangling between your legs or not. You're an American, that's it. And you can believe what you want, just don't let it interfere with me. That's all. It's very simple. But everybody has to control everybody else's words and thoughts and actions. And I don't get that. I couldn't live with myself if I imposed my will on somebody who is the complete opposite of that will. Could not live with myself. So we'll see. If they all, 2 people have accepted the invitation so far. I need 2 more I haven't contacted yet. And we'll see if we actually want to do that. I feel it's sort of an obligation to do it. And I think more Civil War historians, like actual historians, not me, like actual historians need to have these discussions publicly. Good afternoon, Chet. How are you? All right, so we're about to start heading down the Fairfield Road. I'll drive with you a little bit, but we'll let you see the beautiful countryside out on the Fairfield Road, and then I'll end it as we get closer to the Matt Cave, and so on and so forth. Radical Rebel says, morning, Matt. Good morning to you, Radical Rebel. Radical Rebel and Chester Christ, Francis is after them, and so is Matt Gillespie. Actually, I'm going backwards, but that's what I see on the screen. Okay. This is the Fairfield Road, for those of you just joining us, or those of you who missed me say it a couple minutes ago. That's where we are. And this is Willoughby Run Road right here to the left, the top of this ridge. It might sound familiar to you, or it might not. That could be possible both ways. Destination Gettysburg's office was just there to the left. It's the old radio station back when people listened to radio and there were local stations and everything. I think now it's all done by computer out in York or something like that. I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to that. I mean, it's still around, but the station building is no longer a radio station. It's the Destination Gettysburg building. And they let us have our first studio in this town, and we had it. We used it. It was one of the old on-air booths, and we used it up until COVID. And then everybody was working from home, and they didn't want people in the building, so we had to move our stuff out, and did most of the shows of that year in on the battlefield. And then that August, we were like, hey, it's gonna get cold soon, and we can't do this all winter. We need to build a studio. And that's when we built it in the Gettysburg Tours office shed. Wundermanke says, did you ever give the girls their Buckeyes? I certainly did. That night. Where were we? We were, who was over? Yes. Bo and Chris were over. And I brought the Buckeyes in, and I said, here's a gift from Wundermanke. And everybody's like, what? And I said, this is a gift from Wundermanke. And they go, what are you saying? And I said, it's a gift. It's a gift from Wundermanke. And they still didn't get it. And I was like, okay, whatever. A listener gave us the gift for you guys. And I said, I'll have one just because. And I did. But I got to tell you, that was like the sugar I had that week. And I didn't get the sugar high then that I did on Thursday. Maybe it was that combination of caffeine and sugar high that worked for us this Thursday. Andrew says, I miss driving around Gettysburg. Last time I was there was 1998. Whoa. That is quite a while to not be driving around here. Yeah, you need to get back. You need to get back if you can, because it is quite the place, as you well know, I'm sure. 98. So let's see. I was only coming here for 2 years by that point. We started coming in 96. Babber says, have you heard about anything about how Pete Carmichael's family's doing? Are his daughters in college now? As far as I know, they're doing well. I saw his wife Beth and the girls at that must have been CWI. Yeah, it had to be. Was it? But I don't feel like it was, but I think it was. I saw them over the summer, so it had to be CWI. Yeah, and they seem to be doing well. I didn't get too deep into it. I didn't. I'm sure they were probably getting that a lot, the whole time, and I didn't want to be one of the people that did that. I just very quickly, are you doing all right? How are things? And then moved on. How's school? Whatever. So yeah. Eric Koval says, a gift from who? Wundermanke. Haven't you been listening? Good to see, Matthew Gillespie says, good to see Wundermanke on board. And he says, still waiting on that pick, Gillespie. There you go. Wonder Monkey left a comment, was it a comment, or did you make a post on Court's page, a happy birthday post? And I have to quibble with you on one thing that you said, an inaccuracy. You said that I hate freeloaders, and I do not. I never said I do not hate freeloaders. Freeloaders are important. too. But they're important too. So no, I do not hate them. That is a ridiculous thing to say. I resent them, but I don't hate them. And there's a big difference. Well, not a big difference, because sooner or later that does turn to hate. But my point is, I do not hate them, and you are completely inaccurate there, Wundermonkey. You, sir, are a freeloader, and I like you very much. Yes. Oh, by the way, I had some of the bourbon you gave me the other day, and that knocked me on my ass. Let's see. Jeremy. Oh God, his last name is escaping me now. But 2 years ago, I believe, at the Christmas party, he was able to find I think it's pewter shot glass that Doc Holliday uses in Tombstone. You know, that little thing with the thumb ring through it, and he does the whole gun slinging, spinning, and twirling stuff. Well, he found that gave it to me as a gift, because I keep it on the bar at the house. Well, the bar, it's a piece of furniture. We made a bar, and when I just want a little belt or something, I'll just pour a little bit in there, take a shot, and then I'm done. You know. I was doing an interview the other night with Walk with History. We were talking about John Wayne's The Horse Soldiers. And I said, you know what, John Wayne, I looked up what was John Wayne's favorite drink. He loved bourbon, but Wild Turkey, which is disgusting, and it is like the worst. But I guess at the time that might have been top shelf. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't. Point I'm trying to make is I forgot my point. As it clearly was. Oh, I had that, and I had my Doc Holliday shot glass, and I sat there talking about the horse soldiers with the gang, and I had not many, 14, 18 shots, let's say, and man, that knocked me on my ass. And I was hungover all day next day. My body ached from stem to stern because I ended up falling asleep in I didn't have 14, 18 shots. I had like 4. But still, I'm so out of practice these days that a little dab will do ya, and I'll recover for 3 days afterwards. But I was waiting for them to say, what are you drinking there? And I was going to say the brand, and that it was a gift from a listener named Wundermonkey, but they never asked me, and I didn't want to go, look at what I have, because that's kind of unbecoming. So, yeah. But as you watch that interview when it comes out, if you notice my speech slurs as we go further, and it's harder for me to stay on topic, now you know why. It's your fault, Dave. Thank you very much. I dropped off the other bottle for Yanni if you want to try the apple. I'll stop by and ask him if I can. By the way, Dave, just so you know, that whole, when you came out here, you brought the gifts and all that other stuff, that put you are now officially on the list of Freeloader of the Year candidates. That's how you do it, even though you freeload the product that we provide, you give back in other ways that are flattering, perhaps, touching sometimes, thoughtful other times, liver deteriorating, things like that. And they all count in the positive column. Matt Gillespie says, I sent Matt and 6Q a copy of the picture. What picture are we talking about here? What is this picture that we're talking about? Matt did send me a picture. I can't remember what the picture was because a lot of people sent me pictures that they took, and they all bleed together. I don't know which one was which. So what was this picture that we're talking about here? Wonder Monkey says, bah ha ha ha, that was the plan. It cost me a lot of money to jump in this freeloader conversation. You know, look, everybody has their own strategy to winning, right? Just remember, though, Freeloader of the Year doesn't actually receive anything except the title. So don't go spending too much money on gifts. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be sorely disappointed. There's no ROI there, you know. Like Jeff Pasnick's bat, for example, I spent over $1,000 on that because Jeff has spent about that much on addressing Gettysburg over the years. Kevin says Barbara should be freeloader of the year. Barbara's definitely in the running. Barbara's been on the list. She was the immediate, once we said we're going to do that, she was immediately on the list. And what Barbara does, see, now there's many ways. Dave, he chooses to make himself noticed by obviously commenting a lot. That's going to be one big thing. But also, you know, gifts. Okay, I'm easily bought. Barbara, on the other hand, she's freeloader of the year material because she acts like someone who's paying for the product and is dissatisfied. You never start on time, she says, you know, stuff like that. Stop with the music. The music is so annoying, she says. You know, things like that. That sounds like a paying consumer, right? Someone with a vested interest in the product. And so that takes what we call cojones. And being from New Jersey, I have no choice but to respect cojones, even when it's in a situation like I'm getting something for free and I'm still going to complain. That, to me, is the biggest set of balls anybody could ever have, right? Here's a free taco from my new taco stand. Oh, it's cold. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me give you your money back, right? So yes, that is what I love about Barbara, and that puts her on Freeloader of the Year. She may be a queen freeloader for life, and then everybody else just gets to have like some temporary title in her court. I don't know how we're going to structure this. We'll figure it out. Oh, the Getty's Nerd sticker on the car. Yes, thank you. Yes, that looked really good too. I will share that for people. And they're going to ask, where can I get one? And then I'll say, Wundermonkey. All right. You guys, have yourselves a great day. I've got some work to do. I've got some phone calls to make. And then we have dinner. So I will talk to you later. God bless.